Is everyone prepared to operate inside of those qualities? Did everybody write those down? Is everybody prepared to work on those qualities inside of themselves? Because one of the best things you can do inside of being a coach is to continue developing these qualities for yourself. Some of the best growth our company has experienced has been inside of the last 30 days. It's when I started working on me. It's when I identified that I was the problem. I was the bottleneck inside of a lot of things that we do. And my vision became clouded when I wasn't working on myself. My vision is a lot more clear. My company will tell you we go a lot faster. And they have no idea what the pace is about to get to. But without this shit, you can't move. If you can't move, your clients can't move. So it all starts with you guys inside of this room. So let's talk into actually working with a client. Yesterday we talked about periodization. Everything we talk about in here works on a periodized schedule.
And let me say something. A lot of people have a hard time grasping this concept of postseason because some people aren't athletes. But you have to kind of try to relate that to every type of person because it's just pretty much a goal. Okay? What is the goal that they're working on? Okay? And if someone doesn't have a goal, and if it's not measurable, then it's very hard to keep them working towards that. And they're going to lose value or not see value in what you're doing if you're not providing that to them. So I always have a heart-to-heart with people when maybe they hit their first landmark. You got to say, what are you working towards? What do you want to do? Is it a Tough Mudder? Is it a vacation? Is it getting a body fat to a certain percent? You got to find something that's kind of measurable if you're not an athlete. And just use that and take that home with everyone. Because if you're not finding that goal with them, things get monotonous. And when things get monotonous, people don't see the value in what they're doing.
100% agreed. So guys, let's define what each piece inside of the periodization looks like, and then we'll go over application to real life people and different sets of goals. So, in season, what is that defined by? You'll have the book in front of you, I know you can read. But I would ask that you don't do that and engage.
In seasons, like when they're at where they want. All the other stuff led up to
everything built to this moment. So what is happening inside of this moment?
They should be where they
performance. What does performance require? Maybe carbs, maybe not. What if it's just looking good on the beach? That doesn't need carbs. Because that is indicative of in season.
Maintenance calories.
Performance in what? The fuck do you need to perform, guys? Recovery. Performance and recovery. The only two things that matter in season. Kyle, do I give a shit what you eat during the open from food quality perspective?
Not too much.
As long as he's got calories up, I don't fucking care what he eats. We talked about yesterday. If I put someone into a 48-hour event, I need them on a sugar drip. Is that good for longevity? Nope. But when you're in season and it's a performance-based endeavor, longevity doesn't mean shit. If you've decided you want to be at the top of the podium at the CrossFit Games, you want to be at the peak levels, NFL, NBA, whatever it might be, you've decided that you're okay with your lifespan being a little shorter. That's a sacrifice you made. There's no judgment in it, but we have to live in facts. So inside of season, performance and recovery, period. Yes, ma'am.
So when you're just working with a normal human being,
yep.
Not doing CrossFit,
yep.
And you're just starting out with them, say our guinea pigs.
Yep.
Is it really in season because now you're going back to getting their acknowledgement form, understanding what their goals are, and building up to the in season?
So let's do this. Let's go through the 4 pieces, and then we can go through different avatars and slot them into that. Fair? Awesome. Because inevitably that question has to get answered. Because most of the people you work with are not athletes. So I do want to answer that question. So with the knowledge that in season, we're talking about performance and recovery, there's some damage that comes with that. In Kyle's case, if we use lower quality food sources in a 48-hour event, we use lower quality food sources, sugars. We know there's inflammation that will come with that. Yesterday you found out there's hormonal damage that will come with that. There's GI damage that comes with that. It's all part of the process. It's okay. We don't judge it. It shouldn't not happen. It should happen. So inside of postseason, what are we doing? Recovery. 1,000,000%. This window is about recovery. What do you do after a powerlifting meet? Take time off? Don't train for a week? Because you need to recover. You just destroyed your body inside of one day. You need to recover for a little bit. What do NFL athletes do? They win the Super Bowl, they go to Disneyland, and then what do? They go on vacation. They take 60 to 90 days off completely. They don't play football. They don't do strength conditioning work. Whether they know it or not, most of them probably don't. What their coaches are having them do is rebuild their hormone profile, recover any injuries, and get them to a state where they're probably back to homeostasis. They're no longer in recovery debts. Because remember, when we go to off season, which we talked about yesterday, which is defined by creating adaptation, you do not create adaptation until we've built the foundation. So postseason must do the job of recovering hormone levels, rebuilding metabolism, whatever it might be. You must restore homeostatic balance inside of postseason. Because without a foundation, your off-season will yield nothing. It is useless. You are about to waste the next year. So when we talk about the duration of postseason, it's going to be a little bit different for everyone. What were you like coming into your season? Were you a little fucked up? Had you gone through a successful periodization prior to it? How hard was your season? Did you happen to make it to the Super Bowl? It went longer than the guys that didn't even make it to the playoffs. You had to dig a little deeper. You played through injuries. Your nutrition wasn't great in season. You've got some HPA axis issues. Your postseason might be longer than your teammate who did everything perfectly in their season, was injured for the first half of the year, and only had to compete inside of the playoffs. Everyone's going to be different here. Understand that. The whole goal is to bring you back to homeostatic balance, proper hormonal structure, proper GI function. Off-season's defined, we talk about it as strength and skill acquisition. In an athletic setting, that's always what it will be. In an aesthetic setting, this is when you're making changes to your body. If you're a bodybuilder, you need bigger back or bigger shoulders or bigger legs or whatever it is. If you're a power lifter, if you need to get fucking stronger. If you're an Oli lifter, you probably need to work on technique and strength adaptation. If you're a marathoner, I don't know, change professions. No, you're trying to build aerobic capacity. But you should still change professions.
I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would say maybe the only one that doesn't have an off season is just weight loss.
It has to have an off season.
If someone's just cycling off and on.
Yeah.
What would they be doing?
Well, you're kind of, it'll be very brief. It'll basically be holding what you've done in the reverse.
Would be like diet.
But there's no necessary, yeah. It'd be more so like a diet break. We'll jump to that. Let's go through this and then we'll jump into that. Nope, that's okay. Does everyone understand that about off season? What are we doing in preseason? Fueling. We're always fueling. Always fueling. Preseason is we're beginning to make the shift. We're starting to take the pieces that we've built, the tools that we have built in the off season. We're starting to apply them to the specific setting in which we will operate in season. So CrossFitters should not be doing a ton of CrossFit off season. They should be building their strength, building their skills, building their energy systems. Preseason is when we're starting to combine that, doing more sport-specific work. More sport-specific work is clearly going to have different energy system demands, different recovery demands. So typically at this time, you're starting to see the amount of energy intake, calories, carbohydrates, the need for that is going higher because you're doing more actions inside of what your season might require. You're starting to build the capacity that you will need in the season. Now the periodized model is really easy to understand in athletic endeavor. We talk about it from CrossFit, very clear to see where everything sits. For most people, the open will end at the end of February. Off-season will last anywhere, or post-season will last March, April. Off-season will begin May, June, July, August, September, October. Pre-season will go November, December, into January. Rinse, repeat. That's simple. But let's talk about the normal person. How do they fit this? You guys got a problem solved for me. We've done this a couple of thousand times.
In season would be, for a normal person, in season would be like when they're on the beach, on their vacation that they've been working for, at their goal that they've set out at the beginning of working with you. And then post.
Everyone agree with that first? Are we in agreement? Hands up for yes. He's right. Hands up for no, he's wrong. Why?
Well, so I'm a normal person. I mean, I do CrossFit, I work out, things like that, but I'm not a competitor.
Yep.
When I worked with my coach, she built a plan. What was my goal? My goal was X, Y, Z.
What was your goal?
Well, my goal was fat loss.
Okay. Fat loss, what does that mean?
Well,
Like, get more specific for me, because if fat loss is the goal, it's a slippery slope to nowhere.
it is a very slippery slope. So I wanted to get stronger in the gym.
Okay.
I wanted to work with my mind because I was in the same state you were back in the day, and I needed to actually love food. And so in the process of going through it with my coach, the first 3 months or the first period of time was about building a foundation. And so when you're talking about in season,
what was the foundation consisting of? Because I'm gonna have you consider this coaching process could have been better.
okay.
Fill me in. What was the foundation consisting of?
So the foundation was understanding my career goals.
Okay.
It was putting me on a program that I can consistently do.
Okay.
It was building muscle in the gym.
Okay.
Getting stronger in the gym.
Okay.
Am I answering your question?
Yes, but I'm going to have you consider that those are extremely relative, and they leave a lot of room for ambiguity.
Okay.
And when ambiguity is present, success is not present. Because you can't define success. You cannot define success inside of relativity. So when you want to get stronger, how strong do you want to get? Because you and I might have this conversation, and I say, great, you increased your bench press by 10 pounds, you're stronger. And you're like, fuck you, my squat's not 100 pounds stronger. We didn't come to that conclusion on day one. We've been speaking a different language the whole time. We don't even know what season is. So now we can't build you a periodized model. Now we can't build you long-term success. So we're just circle jerking around, getting nowhere.
I guess I'm just confused with in season because...
Great. So let's reverse engineer you, and let's build you your periodization. So what are your goals today?
My goal today is
Real talk.
It is tough. It's
This is where it all starts, though. You guys are seeing the process in action right now. What are the goals?
Think about the term SMART. Remember that term?
Yes.
Specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, timely. Okay? That's a goal you can measure and you can hit. So if you're ever having issues with clients like that, fall back on that. It's been around for a long time, and for good reason. And if that would have been put in play in that situation, it would have made this.
So let's make, I'll give this arbitrary while you think on that. And then I'm going to put you on the spot again after lunch, and we're actually going to go through this properly, okay? Because this is how people need to see it done. And this is the problem with 99% of people. They're going to come to you and they're going to say, I want to lose weight. Okay, great. Well, all of our definition of losing, okay, a pound a week, 2 pounds a month, that's great. That's weight loss. What they're probably thinking in their head is, well, I want that 90-day transformation. So you guys are playing a different game. You don't even know what season is. You don't know what preseason is, postseason is. You guys didn't define it. It's not specific. It's not measurable. So let's do her example, and I'll take your 2 questions. A number. What's your back squat?
What's mine?
Your back squat. 185. Let's just say you guys said I want a 200-pound back squat. I want to get stronger. You're going to do a 12-week strength cycle. Okay? Your 12 weeks is season. Why?
Because you're building up to that.
It's performance and recovery. Period. All that matters inside of these 12 weeks is performance and recovery to get you to 200 pounds. You need to be able to perform the volume. You need to recover from the volume. You need to be working on the technique inside of there. And you need to consistently be doing the work required to get you to that 200-pound number on a plan that someone has laid out for you. Now, what must come after this? Some level of recovery. So then we're going to shift. We're going to go into post. That's probably going to be indicative of some sort of deload. You're going to bring the training volume down. You're going to bring the intensity down. You're going to recover your hormones. You're going to recover anything else that was off. We're not going to focus on body comp yet. But you're going to create an environment of recovery. We're going to bring you back to homeostasis. Okay? Inside of that postseason, we can now go to off-season. Inside of off-season, we now need to define the adaptations you want for your next season. So what do we want for our next season? It may no longer be a strength pursuit. You might have fulfilled the strength number. Now you want to be shredded. Great. Well, the adaptation that we're going to need for that next pursuit is proper hormonal structure, metabolic capacity. So we take a look at your calorie intake. Are we satisfied with it? If we are, great. Your off season is going to be defined about putting the variables together, working on the lifestyle piece, working on the relationship with food, working on all the pieces that you need to build the foundation of. Then it's time to go preseason. Now we're building the macro piece. We're zeroing it in. We're getting closer and closer, and then it's season. It's active fat loss. It's you're no longer allowed to have the cheat meals. You're no longer allowed to have the deviations. We achieve fat loss. We need to rebuild homeostasis. We need to reverse you out. You see how the cycle repeats and repeats and repeats, regardless of the goals. Fair? Yeah. Does everybody comprehend that? How that was done? That's a really good example, by the way. Yes, ma'am.
So is this constantly what needs to happen with a client where you're
yes.
There's never a moment?
Is this constantly what happens with a client? Yeah, why? Why would that be the case? Do you guys want to help clients for like a month at a time or years at a time? Years. Inside of business, you want their money every month. But inside of impact, you know that you're the resource that they need.